Hey everyone, welcome to another absolutely educational episode of The
Skooled Zone.
Alright, when we last left off, we were just about to read this book and then head downstairs and start our first mission. So let's check out A Gaffer's Tale, Volume 2. Excerpt from the Travel Journal of a Whaler in His Final Years, A Gaffer's Tale, Volume 2, or A Gaffer's Final Passage. After more than a quarter of a century, I am done with whaling, too broken to continue. I've seen all corners of the isles and made more coin than most men see in a lifetime. But it's all gone. I've lived through an emperor and watched his daughter take the throne. Fair young empress she was, but slain so young. Everything beautiful comes to die. I've eaten in every port of the known world and sailed in the loneliest waters you can imagine. I've seen the cliffs around Pandysia. Even the best of it doesn't give me an ounce of joy. The years come back across my dreams as a line of butchered bodies, long, sleek, and singing among the waves under the moonlight, only to be speared by ugly, weather-scarred men who'd knife each other for a good pair of boots. Each year I had less time to come home. My tongue forgot the language of small chatter, and those who lived in the cities thought me odd. My sister Nina hardly knew what to say to me during our visits. When she lost her business to the Lord Regent's crooked barrister, I was 100 miles east of Morley, gaff-hand frozen from the sleet as we tracked the first bull whale we had seen in months. I helped her as much as I could, but Nina died in the early days of the plague. None of it mattered. If I'm jaded and bitter, it's because the industry has taken away my dreams. The world has beaten me. Sounds like his dreams were a bit broken after his first journal entry. You know, to be honest, my dad was in the Navy, and he told me similar tales. It's certainly hard adjusting to normal life after a hard life at sea. Alright, let's keep going. Okay, so let's head downstairs and start talking to the Admiral. Why am I doing that? Where do I go? Here we go. Alright. So we are going to chat with him.
Well, let's get down to it. First off, I know that assassination is dark business, but sometimes good men have to do bad things to make the world right. Our purpose is clear. We want to restore Her Majesty's line by finding and putting Emily Caldwin on the throne. To those ends, we'll hide, act in shadow, take them apart, piece by piece. Tonight, High Overseer Campbell dies by your hand. It won't be easy. He's protected by his overseers, an army of religious zealots. But if anyone can do it, you can. Your exploits are legendary. Campbell carries a private journal. Once you've eliminated him, get the journal, because we think it contains Emily's location. Recovering her is obviously critical, assuming she's alive. That's the gist of it. Remember our cause and strike true. We're counting on you. Another thing. Campbell is holding a former overseer by the name of Martin. He's one of us, and if you manage to find him, give him whatever help you can. He's a master strategist, and he got caught working for our cause. It'd be good to have him back here at the Hound Pits.
Alright, first assassination mission. So, he mentioned the word exploits in his little speech there, and exploits means accomplishments or notable acts. And we are also going to sneak around him and read the book he's reading here, The Exquisite Tallboy. Excerpt from a letter of public concern by anonymous authors. What you've read here is the truth, regardless of what you will hear from the authorities who rule over us. It is not a matter of coincidence that the former royal spymaster is the one who stepped in when the late empress fell. We, who will remain nameless, believe that these events are interconnected. The signs of oppression are all around us. The Sokolov designs, originally intended to provide light and warmth in our homes, have been turned against us as a means of inspiring fear and controlling our movements through the city. And where did this plague originate? Some say it was imported. A wild theory? Perhaps. One of our members risked her life to obtain an internal report from the government, which we will be printing and sharing soon, called The Exquisite Tallboy, extolling the virtues of this newest member of the City Watch. Extolling means praising or glorifying. To those in the streets below, these virtues are horrors, spread by the stilted thugs who rain down fire on the sick and the poor. To these eyes, the Tallboy is another government bully armed with incendiary devices. Incendiary means capable of setting something on fire. Thick, armored, and standing high overhead, looking down on the common people of the city. We know that the Tallboys are heavily drugged. Imbibing is a fancy word for drinking, a substance that renders them resistant to pain, but also dulls whatever empathy they might normally possess. Exquisite? We think not. Copy these words and share them with your neighbors, and remember, when the tides are lowest, the truth will be revealed. Interesting. Yeah, those Tallboys are kind of BAs. We'll meet them a little later. And by the way, up here when it's talking about the plague being imported, there's actually precedent for that. That's kind of what happened to the Native Americans when the Europeans wanted to clear out land. They'd bring diseases in various forms of gifts like blankets and infect them with diseases that they had never encountered before, so they didn't have an immunity to it. And it was a form of early germ warfare, or early biological warfare, you could say. All right, let's keep going. I think we're done here. We can head out and start our mission, but before we do, we're going to buy some gear from Piero. You should be up here. Oh my, look at that. He's stuck at the table. Maybe he found a way to do his little portal thing. I'm sure it's just some glitch clipping there, but let's see if he'll respond to us here. Poor Piero. All right.
What can I do for you?
You can come out from the table. All right, let's talk about upgrades and new equipment. Okay, so as I mentioned in a previous episode, I always like to head over to the upgrades first and see if there's, like this bone charm capacity. We're going to equip some bone charms a little later, but having as many possible as you can is always a good thing. So let's purchase that. And if you'll notice, we only have like 1,944 coins left after all that looting that we did all over the home base. So that's why it's important. If it seems like I'm just trying to grab everything and taking a long time to do it, it's because this stuff is expensive and they don't give you a whole lot of coins. So you gotta really dig around and find everything you can. So I think the range is going to be important to me first, more so than the accuracy. And then we're obviously going to need some of these items. The rewire tool is like a hacking device for their security systems. We'll talk about that in a future episode, but we're definitely going to... Here we go. Okay, so you kind of get the gist of that. So we're going to grab a couple more of these. And I usually leave a gap of 2 or 3 because you'll find some in the environment and then max out. But these things are always handy and you need a few. These spring razors are also really handy, so we're going to grab one of those. You can basically attach it to a surface or even an animal, although that's kind of hard, and it'll trigger when they walk by. It's kind of like a proximity mine. And then let's pick up some grenades, which are also very handy. That should be good for now. So, this is an interesting question. When were grenades invented? Well, grenades go all the way back to the ancient Roman Empire, where soldiers would take Greek fire, which was like early napalm, and they would put this Greek fire in little ceramic jars that would burst on impact and set everything nearby on fire. So grenades evolved over the centuries into like explosive cannonballs until eventually, somewhere around the late 19th century, the pin and fuse grenades came onto the scene. So again, they fit in correctly with the Dishonored timeline. Let's grab another bolt, another sleep dart, maybe 2 of those, and I think we have just enough for 1 more of these upgrades. So let's pick up the... Oh, maybe 2. All right, let's grab the bolt capacity and the bolt accuracy. Okay, we're in good shape. All right, before we head out, I'm actually interested in seeing what this little heart has to say about him.
Each and every night the black-eyed outsider visits upon Pierre's dreams. He is Pierre Joplin. Even now he visualizes the next invention. Astonishing. I wish you could see it too. Poor Piero. His elixirs have cured so much for so many, but they cannot cure his brain fevers.
Interesting. So, brain fever is an old Victorian era term for an inflammatory infection in the brain, such as meningitis or encephalitis. It was said to cause mood swings and delusions, which is probably what the heart is talking about with Piero. So he should definitely get that treated, or at least get over his pride and drink some of Sokolov's elixir. All right, so let's... Actually, you know who he reminds me of? Did you guys ever watch that sci-fi TV show Stargate SG-1? He kind of reminds me of the character.
I find my genius is a versatile one. Bring me items of value, I can use the proceeds to build tools for you. Bring me any technology, anything at all, and I will reverse engineer it for our needs.
I wonder if he's going to say something else if we just stare at him.
I cannot go out with you into the night leaping from rooftops and such. But it pleases me to help you here by crafting your weapons and your gear.
Okay, so anyway...
My mind does not always function in a logical fashion. I believe it's the key to my brilliance.
He's just talking all clipped in that table. That's hilarious. All right, so anyway, as I was about to say, he kind of reminds me of Daniel Jackson from that TV show. If you guys have ever seen the show, you probably know what I mean. She kind of looks like she's waiting for us. Let's see what she has to say.
Corvo. Hello. I'm Callista. I work here for Admiral Havelock. I'm sorry to intrude on your business, but this is important. I suspect you're going to kill the High Overseer. That wretched man. There's really no reason for you to listen to me. But my uncle, Jeff Kernow, still serves as captain in the City Watch. But he's a good man, and my only family. The chatter in servant circles is that Campbell just took delivery of an exotic poison. And I think I know why. My uncle's not corruptible like the rest of them. Campbell is going to poison my uncle. Do you think you could protect him? You used to do that, right? Before you had your current profession. Before you became an assassin.
All right, we'll help her out. So let's go see if Sammy can take us to the Distillery District.
Ready to go? Just give the signal.
Well, let's go. So he's going to talk in spurts in a minute. We'll let him do that.
It'll be a rough trip. Used to be to go straight up Clavering Boulevard, but now it's not so easy. Half the city's dead of the plague. The other half's fighting over what's left. The City Watch still holds the bigger streets, and they've set up those wall of light checkpoints. A man walks through one of those, and he ends up burned to a crisp. Everything not controlled by the City Watch is gang territory. Then there are the real odd birds living on the fringes like that Granny Rags. They say she's nuts. Don't know which is worse. Just take your pick.
So he's kind of giving us a few clues on what to expect up ahead. Oh man, you know what I forgot to grab? I forgot to grab some more spiritual elixirs. Hopefully we'll find a few more in the environment. I see a little note here.
But easy, damn it. Keep him in the boat. Canal's got enough shit in it as it is.
Arthur's note. Dearest Gwen, the city is going to burn. I've sold everything, so there's nothing for me here now except you. I'll wait for you where Clavering Boulevard crumbles into the river, where we used to meet. We'll take the money I've made and bribe our way onto a passing whale ship. I won't leave without you, and if you won't come, I'd rather be rat food. Love, Arthur. He mentions Clavering Boulevard here. Sam mentioned it earlier when he was giving his little speech. So does the name mean anything? Well, maybe. First of all, the word claver means to gossip, so someone who's clavering means they're gossiping. Clavering is also a village in Essex, England, I think, and The Claverings, as a title, is also a novel by Anthony Trollope and takes place in the 1860s, right around the time equivalent of Dishonored. Don't know which it's referring to as far as the name of the street, but just know that the game developers usually have a reason for a lot of the details they put in video games, even if it's just ambience. Not always coincidence, you know? Alright, so let's see what we have. Oh, we have a dude here. Let's go into sneak.
Yeah, the little one. Not possible. I inspected them myself.
And take him out. Oh. So these guys up here are those dead counters that I had mentioned earlier.
Good. Keep them coming.
See if there's anything. Nope. Okay. Let's see if we can slide upstairs. We can. Oh. There's a civilian. See if we can sneak around without getting noticed. We won't kill her because she's just a survivor, basically. An innocent victim in all this. And we'll put her somewhere safe. About right there. Alright. So let's head up on around. See what we got. So here's a map. Yep, number 4 there, Clavering Boulevard. All right, we'll get to all this in a little bit. Let's sneak up on this guy too. Hopefully he won't notice us. Uh-oh. Turn around and go back. Staring at a wall. Come on, turn around. He wants to come this way. All right, that's fine. I tried to be nice. Okay. So it said survivor there, so they're not really with the watch, so we can just like put him in this little dumpster there and he'll wake up thinking he drank too much whiskey.
Special announcement from our honorable Lord Regent. This is the Lord Regent speaking. It is with regret that I announce that my term as Lord Regent has been extended through the month of harvest and this continuing crisis. The overseers of the Abbey of the Everyman remain in service to the state.
Alright, so I was just sort of letting the announcer guy speak. So there's a little guardy guard. Play your pathways. Alright, so they give you a lot of options to get around, and you can just basically decide what your style is. What we're going to do is we're going to take the option on the far right there. We're going to go around the entire place, because when we go around to the right there, we're going to get to meet Granny Rags. Rewire tool, sweet. Spring razor, sweet. Note to Sergeant Hayburn. Sergeant Hayburn, all the Wall of Light components have been delivered to your station, and I expect it to be functional before midnight. You've also been provided with several spare whale oil tanks should the need arise. Last, it's come to my attention that various watchmen continue the adolescent practice known as rat burning. Remember, whale oil is not cheap. Please keep your men under control. Captain Kurnow. So, sounds like they're having a little fun in their off hours there. Alright, so Captain Kurnow is the guy that we are going to rescue for our friend back at the pub. So let's see if we can get this guy to not see us. We're going to hide under this little... There we go. Ha! We slit his throat. Let's loot him and carry this over here. So, here's an interesting question. How long would it take someone to die after their throat was slit? Well, the answer is probably longer than you think, and that you see here. See, even if Corvo managed to cut the jugular vein or the carotid artery, the guard wouldn't lose consciousness for 10 to 20 seconds. They would certainly be grasping their neck, trying to hold back the blood spray, but we can assume the creators didn't want to get that gruesome. By the way, the carotid artery is the blood vessel that carries the blood from the heart to the head, and the jugular vein is the blood vessel that carries the blood from the head back to the heart. So, it's more likely that the carotid artery is being severed in this case. But I'll tell you what, we'll save the major anatomy lessons for when we get to Sniper Elite 3. If you've ever played that game, you know what I'm talking about. Alright, let's keep going. So this is kind of interesting. You'll often see the trees in Dishonored with this white paint around the trunk. And you may have seen it in real life, actually. So why do they do that? Well, there's a reason for it. It's not just for decoration. It's called whitewashing, and they do it to help the tree survive sun scald, which is a type of severe bark damage that usually comes from the sun reflecting off snow. So if you've ever been skiing or snowboarding on a sunny day, you'll notice that you can get sunburned pretty easily if you don't use sunscreen. Sometimes you'll see people with the heavier white stuff on their nose. Well, whitewashing for trees is kind of like the same thing. So let's see if there's anyone else over here. Oh, you know what we're going to do? We're going to have a little fun here. We're going to grab this whale oil tank. Let's see if we can throw it on these dead counters over here. Okay, so you can't blink while you're holding this thing. I guess you need both hands. Oh, that's a bummer. Alright, so we're going to have to resort to some bullets here. Alright, that's good. We didn't get noticed. Let's just get rid of the evidence. No body, no crime, right? I was like, where did he go? And we loot them at the same time. Alright, so let's see. Okay, we have some loot on the other side of this iron wall. I think we have to go up and around, which is no problem for us. Awesome. Okay. So we're going to grab this pouch, this bone charm, and then eat a little rat shish kebab. And here's what we're going to do. We're going to jump into Death in the Month of Songs in the next episode and also equip all of our bone charms. And I'll talk a little bit about some of the advantages and disadvantages of using each of those. So once again, thanks for tuning in. Subscribe, like. You guys are awesome. We'll see you in the next episode.